You have an important job. You haven't got much time. You young folks in America are going to have to write the history. A lot of people get uptight. They don't like your long hair, don't like the way you dress. And what you young folks have been doing, that noise, that sound might be the last one. Don't let them stop this true revolution. You have the power. So money is not power. Information is power. The day you was born, all the wisdom and knowledge that never was and never will be. You was born with.
This is a freedom song meant to go around the world. Critical time everywhere in the world. Wake up, 'cause we stand and walk. Please ask yourself, what are you living for? So you say you're a no-limit soldier, but you're living off the lies that they told you. Now what? And who you are, you ain't never been a thug, you was born a star.
Alafi and welcome to the Black Learning Channel Television with Amira Aamon. So, as you can see, or as I said last week, we moved right when my school moved. So, I can't believe I'm saying this, but happier than I was before we moved. Well, one thing's for sure. Guess how much grass I cut? No grass. Upstairs and downstairs. We live near Ocala Lake. What could be better? So yeah, as I said last week, I do not like it here. I love it here. So yeah, when you do this much work, it's worth it when you can come home to upstairs, downstairs, Ocala Mall, Ocala Lake, and it's about like 2 streets with almost every eating place you can name. So yeah, I really like it here. Well, it seems like something feels bigger here than it was Walkertown. Just something. Oh, when in Walkertown, okay, here there's a giant mall. Walkertown, you would probably have to drive at least to Greensboro to find, or maybe even Kernsville to find a mall somewhere. So, you would have to drive to Winston-Salem to find a mall. So, yeah, I can't believe it, but I like it here better than Walkertown. When we were in Walkertown, you can't say there's only one level. You can't say come downstairs, go upstairs, get me something, because it's either on this. Because it's only on the same floor, same level. So there's no upstairs. There's a downstairs, but no upstairs. Just one level in Walkertown. Here, upstairs, downstairs. But yeah, I like it here. To me, it's like goodbye Walkertown. Goodbye Walkertown.
How about your dad? Does he love it here?
And my dad, I can say the same.
Then Lonnie likes it here.
But yeah, we both like it here. Upstairs, downstairs, Ocala Mall, Ocala Lake, And so yeah, what could be better? So yeah, I have to say I do like it here more than Walkertown, and I can't believe I just said that. Because if you think about it, I like Walkertown equally as I like here, but I think here just is this much better. Because if you're probably someone who likes a lot of space, you're like, well, Walkertown did have a lot of space to run around. That is true, but yeah, but yeah, but yeah. See. Anyway, this is like, well, brand new. Not brand new stuff, like absolutely, but it's like a brand new start. Like now it's not just decorated by my mom, and then from as long as I can remember, which was like when I was 3 and older, I've been seeing my mom's designs and decorations and how my mom put it together. And here well, I won't say it doesn't look like my mom did anything, but it's something where I can remember, okay, yeah, I remember moving the couch in there. I remember my dad moving the counter. I remember such and such. I can't say that when we moved from Maryland to Walkertown.
You know where the towels are because you put them there.
I know where the towels are. I put them there. Yeah, so now I can actually say, okay, yeah, I remember moving my bed in there. I remember such and such. I remember putting my stuff up because it's not something that my mom did. Where when we moved down, okay, think about it. You're 2 months old. There's really nothing you can really do decorating wise. If you're 2 months old, there's not much you can do when you're only 2 months old. So now I can say, oh yeah, I remember putting the curtains up. Oh yeah, I remember moving the speakers in. There's some things I just can't say about Walkertown that I can say here. Because I can remember, I remember putting everything up where it was going to go. And something now I can't remember. Since we moved not too long ago, I can remember riding in a truck. Not for the first time, but... And now I know one other thing. My dad can drive a truck.
26 foot.
26-foot truck. Yeah, because I can remember going to where we got the truck. I remember loading the stuff. The last night we were there, which was like December the 5th, somewhere. You know, the last night we were in Walkertown. I remember picking up stuff, so picking up trash and having a fire for well, I won't say the last time in my life, but for the last time in Walkertown,
Yeah, big old fire.
big old fire. I remember going around the house looking for stuff to put in the fire. There are just certain things I can say about moving to High Point that I can't say about moving from Maryland to Walkertown. Like I can't say stuff, oh yeah, I remember my dad putting the TV there. I remember putting up all the dishes, and there's certain things I can say here that I can't say when I was in Walkertown. Now my room, yeah, I kind of sort of decorated that part because we moved a couple things out and switched it, but yeah, that I can say about my room in Walkertown, but not much I can say. Not much else I could say, like maybe the living room. I was 2 months old. Nothing you can do decorating wise. When you become older, you can start to say, yeah, but yeah, 2 months old, all you can do is watch. Well, by watch, I mean, well, all you can do is watch, but you 2 months, like if you think about it, let's see, I'm 8 years old, I'll be 9 in 4 months. Yeah, if I'm 8 years old, I'll be 9 in 4 months, and I was 2 months old when we moved. Not much you can tell people. Not much you can tell people, like, someone says, how did it feel to move from Maryland to Walkertown? I would probably say, well, not much I can say about that because, okay, you're 8 gonna turn 9 in 4 months, and you were 2 months old then. 2 different ages, and like about 8 years apart. So, if it's 8 years back, you're probably not gonna. There's certain things that you can remember if it was 8 years back, but I'm 8 years old, 8 years back. Not much I can say. Even when I was 3, 2 years back, there were certain things when I was younger that I hear stories about it, but sometimes I see pictures, hear stories, and even see proof that actually happened, but some things just don't appear in my memory when I'm 8 years old. Like playing in the living room. Certain things I remember, like running around the house, and that's something I can remember, but yeah, not much I can remember from moving from Maryland to Walkertown. Not much. If you're 2 months old, all you can do is.
And you were born living by a lake in Maryland.
And anyway,
Dad is just
I was actually born living by a lake in Maryland, so.
Lake Forest.
Lake Forest.
Yeah.
Okay, think about it. Lake Forest, Lake Crest. The end is different, but Lake Forest, Lake Crest. Lake.
And what does everybody know about Lake Forest? It's a mall.
And what does everybody know about Lake Forest? It's a mall.
Yeah, everybody in Maryland knows where it is. It's a big, rich mall.
Yeah, if you're 2 months old, not much you can say about moving from Maryland to DC if you're only 2 months old. But even if when I was 3, I still couldn't remember that. There are certain things when I was younger, even after we moved, there are certain things that I can't believe that happened that just doesn't appear in my memory. Like sometimes when I'm looking in the garage, I'm like, look at all this stuff that I used to have when I was little.
Do you remember the first deer you saw?
So yeah, there's not. If you're 2 months old, not really much you can say. There's certain things I can remember that were just something that you can't forget. I probably said this once before. I was riding on my bike down the street when you wouldn't. Well, if there's a woods on both sides, you can't believe this happened, but when guess what ran across the street? Deer. It seemed to me like there was about like 2 or something.
How old were you?
I was about 5 years old. So yeah.
But you saw deer before then out back on camera.
I saw deer before then out back. Because if you live right in front of the woods, well, there's plenty of ways you can get caught or get footage with animals. We've seen wild turkey. Let's see, woodchucks, deer, frogs, snakes. Okay, when I brought up snakes, you're probably wondering, snakes? Yes, snakes. And by the way, you don't bother them, they won't bite you.
We didn't run.
We didn't run away. We were just walking up the street. We happened to see a snake. We just happened to see a snake. Nothing.
And almost stepped on it.
Almost stepped on it. I mean, it's a snake. It won't bite. If you mess with it, yeah, it will come right after you. If you just leave it alone, I can't say I have been bit by a snake, because you don't mess with the snake, won't hurt you. Mess with the snake, there's a pretty good chance it will go after you. So yeah, leave the snake alone. It won't go after you.
And it's not going to chase you.
It's not
It just tries to get you away from it.
Just tries to get you away from.
By striking at you.
By striking at you. It doesn't
try
to
street,
chase
it's not going to come down there looking for you.
If you go down the street, it's not gonna come looking for you. But yeah, leave the snake alone, nothing will happen. Mess with the snake, yeah. You could easily get bit by a snake by messing with it. Leave the snake alone, you can just walk on by. Yes. Yeah, so if you see a snake on the road like we did, just don't mess with it. Don't mess with it. You're not gonna get bit. It's not gonna mess with you or anything. So yeah, snake. Don't mess with the snake. So yeah, don't mess with the snake. Yes. Yeah, but yeah, especially, and if you live by a woods and you're going across right beside there, yeah, there's a pretty good chance if you plant collard greens, mustard greens, that they're gonna get eaten. But yeah, if you're planting near woods, there's a pretty good chance it's gonna get collard greens, gonna get eaten. Mustard greens.
Green beans.
Mustard greens, green beans. We planted watermelon for a couple of years. Cantaloupe, same thing. Cucumbers, tomatoes, rosemary. So carrots last year.
What did Sister Hashima grow?
There's something else. Radishes. Yeah. Oregano. There. Cilantro. Yes. So that's broccoli. Yeah. Broccoli. Yeah. Couldn't exactly But yeah, we grew. They're just, well, if you've been there 8 years, there are plenty of things you can say about Walkertown. But
The soil is good to grow.
soil is good. It's like almost, well, most of the years we've done crops has been successful. There was just this one time watermelons were busting open. Yeah, we
It
found
rained a lot that year.
And it rained a lot that year, but
Too
there,
much rain.
and there was, but yeah, there was. Well, so there was one year where we got a watermelon. The next year we used those same seeds we got out the watermelon, and did not turn out so well. Yeah, watermelons were busted open, and yeah, small. They're just certain things that happened that year that didn't turn out so well for the watermelons. So yeah, like, it seems like when you grow watermelon, you can't use the seeds from inside the watermelon over again. Yeah. So yeah, watermelon busted open. Plenty of things happened. It turned out small, and yeah. So
First year was the best.
First year was the best year for watermelons. First year we started planting. Great. Big, juicy, sweet watermelons. Yeah. But yeah, the first year for us was with us, nothing went wrong.
And tell them who put the seeds in the ground.
And guess who put the seeds down? Yours truly. And the reason, some of the reason we found out some of the stuff came up is because since I'm lower to the ground, I can easily get to the ground.
I think you were 4.
I think I was 4 years old when we started planting. So yeah, when you're 8, it's easy. Well, I won't say 8 because I wasn't 8 then, but it was about 4, something like that. Yeah, since you're 4, you're probably gonna be very close, or let's see, very close to the ground, so it's easy to just bend down and see when plant down the seeds, or put down the seeds. And for 2, it's easy to spot when something's growing if you're 4 years old. Yeah. But yeah, it's easy to just plant. It's easy to put down the seeds and spot when something's growing when you're at least like maybe well, for me under 10, but yeah, when I would plant the seeds, and first year turned out great, but there was 1 year where we took some watermelons, took the seeds out of the watermelon, put the seeds down, and they didn't exactly turn out so well.
So you had to go back to the store.
So we had to go back to the store, get some different seeds, because seeds after you grow the watermelon, you can eat the watermelon, but if you plant the seeds that were in the watermelon, well, we tried it and it didn't exactly turn out so well if you planted the seeds over again, so we had to go back to the store and get some seeds that were already in the pack. It's about this big. So.
And you take the live seeds and you let them dry out. like from one year to the next.
You take
6
the
months.
live seeds, let them dry out, like 6 months or something.
Yeah, you can't take it out of
You
a
can't take it.
live watermelon and put it in the ground.
You can't just take it out of like this. If this is watermelon, you can't exactly just take a seed and then plant it down the next day.
You have to let it dry out.
Let it dry out. You can't just take the watermelon seeds the next day. You plant them all down. It's not gonna work. You let them dry.
You put them in when you get ready to use them, you put them in a container, and the ones that float are good, and the ones that don't float are not good.
You put them. So when you dry them out, you put them in a container
Of water.
And then see what floats and see what doesn't float.
The ones that float are good.
The ones that float are good. The ones that don't float are bad. And yeah. The ones that float are good, but the ones that don't float are bad. So yeah, once you dry them out for about 6 months, then you can put them in a container of water, see what floats and what doesn't float. If it doesn't float, it's bad. If it floats, it's good. So yeah. It seemed like, I think it was last year where we were growing. Last year
20 buckets.
Last year we had 20 buckets of water. You're probably wondering, how can you grow watermelon in a bucket? Well,
It goes over the top.
So this is the bucket. Watermelon grows over the top. Same with cantaloupe.
And they end up on the ground.
They end up on the ground. Yeah. Also, if you're growing in a bucket or in the ground, you have to be very careful, especially when you're walking around watermelons. Easy to trip over the vine, step on a baby watermelon. There are just certain things that could happen if you're not very careful with watermelon, cantaloupe. Basically,
cherry tomatoes grew all the way to October.
Cherry tomatoes grew all the way to October. Oh, and basil does very well.
Yes.
That grew to about. It seemed like it was growing when we moved or something. It was still growing. Not exactly, but it was still growing in November. Still growing. So yeah, basil lasts a long time. If you're thinking of growing basil, we grew it last year. Lasted a long time.
Gave a lot away.
Gave a lot away. We went to the farmer's market once. We were picking basil that was about this small. We saw basil that was this big. We're whoa. So we saw basils that were that big. So yeah, if you're looking to grow basil does very well. We tried it. Yeah, basil does very well. Let's say you want to grow it to November. Yeah, it grew a long time. Can't remember exactly which month it grew to, but it lasted a long time. We were still bringing basil in in October.
Yeah, after the Lux conference.
After the Lux conference. It's like, Amira, go get some basil. The basil was still growing. So yeah, basil. Yeah, we did it last year.
We gave cucumbers away.
We gave cucumbers away.
Years ago, we gave watermelons away.
Years ago, we gave watermelons away. So yeah. Yeah. So if you're thinking of something to grow, basil does very well. Good. At least October. I knew it probably grew longer than that, but at least to October.
And tell your young audience to tell their parents to let them grow some stuff.
Oh, and if you are about my age or younger, tell your parents grow something. Yeah. Also, green beans do very well. We tried it before.
Yeah, just don't take. You gotta put something back.
Just don't take. You gotta put something back.
Growth.
But yeah, if you're about my age or younger, tell your parents to grow something. Yes.
Easiest thing is tomatoes.
Easiest thing to do is tomatoes. I mean, if you're thinking to grow, you should start with tomatoes. Also, I have grape tomatoes with me. Tea. Herbal tea. Honey. Which is a good replacement for sugar. Every time we had to use sugar, we used honey. It works. It's a great replacement for sugar. I have greens right here.
4 kinds.
4 kinds to be exact. I have fresh squeezed orange juice.
Who squeezed that for you?
Fresh squeezed orange juice. My dad squeezed
Who squeezed that for you?
My dad squeezed it. Also, most important, grapefruit, lemons, bananas, broccoli, as I said, tomatoes. Let's see.
Potato in there.
Potatoes, had to grab it. Potatoes, and last but not least, onion.
Sweet onion.
Sweet onion. So yeah. Okay, so when life gives you fruit, you eat it. So yeah. But yeah, if you want to start, I think tomatoes are the easiest to grow. Just make sure make sure the tomato plant doesn't lean over, because put up a stick. Several sticks actually. Because once a tomato like this big starts going,
heavy.
Plant starts to lean over. So yeah, if you want to start growing something, tomatoes are the easiest. Just make sure you put poles, sticks up, something to keep the plant up, and tie it all together with string. Like, here's the plant, stick is like right here, and you're gonna have to, and once you plant them all down, once they start to grow up and you start to see it leaning over, you might want to put some sticks down, and if the sticks are on the edges, you might want to go around with some string and tie it. So yeah, if you want to start growing something, tomatoes are the easiest to grow. Oh, and if you live near woods, yeah, be careful about the greens. It's easy, and if there are animals in the woods, if you're growing greens, yeah, it's gonna be pretty easy for them to get eaten if you live near woods.
If you like it, they love it.
And if you like it, they love it. Trust me. Animals, yeah, they love greens. Right when you think nothing can go wrong with your collard greens, next morning you wake up, you have no collard greens left. Well, it doesn't actually just go with collard greens. If you grow mustard greens too, yeah, they look, to me they look very similar. So yeah.
And if they need any help,
if they need
contact
any help,
us.
Contact us. If you need any help growing, well, I wouldn't suggest, our broccoli didn't turn out so well, but greens turn out well. Just make sure they're not near woods or anything, because if they are, there's a good chance they're gonna get eaten. Tomatoes are, again, very easy. Just make sure when they start growing you put poles up so it doesn't lean over. And since the poles, you want to put the poles around the edges, you might want to tie it all together with a string, because even if it's not like you should put poles up, but to keep it from leaning over. But yeah, and then poles are around the edges, you tie some string around, and so yeah, if you start to get tomatoes about this big, or when they start growing, you're probably going to want to put some poles down to make sure it doesn't lean over. And then tie poles around the edges, tie it around with some string, and that's a good way to keep your plants up. Now watermelons, there's nothing you can do to stop that. That's just,
it's going to stay on the ground.
It's just going to stay on the ground. There's nothing you can do about watermelons.
If they don't grow up, they grow down.
They don't grow up like this. They stay on the ground. And once you plant it down, you're probably like the next week later, you're probably going to see something maybe like this. Not as big, but if it was it's not going to be big yet. It takes time, but you might want to grow it in the summer because, well, watermelons need lots of sun. 80 degrees Fahrenheit for 80 days. And hopefully you'll have watermelons. It will start out like this.
Turn into a yellow flower.
Then you'll see a yellow flower. After that, you can tell a female from a male, which is very simple. If it's a female, it's under. Okay, so here's the flower, right here. If it's a female, it's gonna have a circle under the flower.
It's gonna look pregnant.
And if it's a male, it's basically just gonna look. If this is a flower, it's basically just going to look like this. So yeah, it's very simple. So yeah, under the flower, if it's a female, it's going to have a circle right under the flower. If it's a male, you're not going to get any watermelon basically from a male. Female, yeah, you're going to get some watermelon. One time we thought we were looking for a bunch of females, we saw a bunch of flowers, and we ended up with watermelon, but yeah, we didn't really see any female until we started seeing the watermelon. Like, oh, there's a female. Yeah, very simple to tell a female from a male.
Same with cantaloupe.
Same with cantaloupe. But yeah, just remember that trick and you'll know which flower or how much fruit you're gonna get how much fruit you're not gonna get. If you just follow that trick, it's gonna be easy to figure out. Okay, so let's see. This one's a female, this one's a male, this one's...
And the bees like all of them.
And the bees are just gonna go crazy. So yeah, don't try to shoo the bees off, because if you do, okay. So no bees, no fruit, no fruit. So yeah, don't try to make the bees go away. And just so you know, before you start running from the bees, do not mess with the bees. Same with snakes. You mess with the bee, it's gonna go after you. Yeah. Mess with the bee like this. Okay, if the bee's right here and you mess with it like that, it's gonna go after you. It's very likely to go after you. So yeah, tomatoes are easiest to grow. Also,
this is Delani.
Yes, so yeah,
okay, stay right there.
I have herbal tea with me.
We'll be right back. Amira's doing a program. I'll be with you.
I have grape tomatoes. Honey, all natural. Berry Hill, clover honey. Oh, and even if you're not using it in something, it actually tastes really good. Strawberries, fresh squeezed orange juice. I have greens, 4 types. I have bananas, potatoes, tomatoes, grapefruits, broccoli, not last but not least, lemons, and last but not least, onions. So yeah, if you want to start growing something, tomatoes are the easiest thing to grow. Even before I knew how to grow stuff, we used to have some tomatoes.
Sister Brenda and Sister Mary up next.
But yeah, so yeah, tomatoes are the easiest to grow. If you want to start growing something, also basil does very well. Watermelon, do not shoo the bees off. If you shoo the bees off, yeah, you should not shoo the bees off. If you shoo the bees off, you get no fruit. That period, point blank. Nope. Let's say you have 12 females. Without the bees, you're not going to get any fruit. If you have no bees, you're not going to get fruit. That's just something oh, and sometimes that happens with same with cantaloupe. You don't have bees, you're not going to get fruit. But anything that has a flower, even vegetables, you don't have bees, you're not going to get any fruits or vegetables. Anything that has a flower, you're going to need the bees. So yeah, don't say to the bees, no, go away. That's not going to turn out well. That's just something that I know. Shoo the bees away, you're not going to get anything. Trust me, you are not going to get any fruit if you tell the bees to just go away. Yeah. So, got like 1 minute left. Up next is the Black Lunch Classroom. Sister Mary and Sister Brenda. When it's too cold to grow, you can buy from the store. yeah, up next is the Black Learning Channel Classroom. I want to thank the UNIA ACL for supporting the Black Learning Channel. Too Cold to Grow. Buy from the store. So yeah. Bye guys, see you next week.